Hey friends, welcome back. My name is Sarah and today I'm sharing my March TBR. Maybe. There's two things I want to mention before I really kind of get into the TBR portion of this video. And the first one is that I am really suffering today with my allergies. And so, in fact, I can already feel my eyes watering. I'm not crying, I promise everything is fine, but I'm really suffering with my allergies today. And so if I start to get a little bit rambly or a little bit spacey, it's because A, I just woke up from a nap, and B, I am highly medicated right now. But I wanted to go ahead and post this video so that you know and I know kind of an idea of what I will be attempting to read for the month of March. The second thing I wanted to mention is that I have been feeling a little bit slumpy at the beginning of this year, both in January and then also in February. I've had a lot of different things going on. I've had some business travel, some travel for my alma mater, and then I've just, had what feels like a lot of extra things going on in my personal life. And so I have not been as focused on reading as I have in the past. And that's okay. Having a personal life and, doing things for work and career is totally fine, and I've enjoyed most of those things that I've been doing. But I mention that because I have not been as engrossed in the stories that I have been reading, and I feel like that's reflected, and I will talk more about this in my February wrap-up, but I wanted to give myself a little bit bigger of a TBR this month, and I know I'm not going to get to all of these, but I wanted to give myself a little bit more freedom to mood read a little bit, but at the same time have a more focused list, so I'm not just walking up to my bookshelf and, wandering aimlessly and just trying to pick something at random. So that's why I'm calling this my TBR maybe. I know I'm not going to get to all of these books, but these are the things that I think I'm going to be interested in reading for this month. I should have actually said I have 3 things that I want to talk about, because the other thing, and this is what you will notice as I'm showing you all of these different books, is that March is Women's History Month, and so to honor that, I will be attempting to read from only women authors this month. I say attempting because I do choose audiobooks while I am either on my commute or while I am sometimes working, just based on whatever's available currently from Libby. So while at the beginning of the month I am saying I'm going to read only from women authors, it is possible that I am going to find something that's available on Libby that comes up that will not be a female author. And so that's my plan going in, but there may be something here or there that doesn't necessarily line up with that goal. So I think now that's all of the announcements that I have to make. First, I would like to talk about, speaking of Libby, I do have 2 books that are reserved from my library, and so I wanted to talk about those first so I don't forget them. The first one is called Triptych, and it's by Karen Slaughter. Now, this is available as an ebook, and my turn has just come up. So I will probably be reading that first, since it is since it will be a library hold. I know that I won't be able to renew it, so because I had to, wait on the waiting list. Triptych, as far as I can tell, this was recommended in one of the online reading groups that I'm in. Triptych, as I said, is by Karen Slaughter, and I just finished an audiobook from her. I finished that earlier today, and it was really, really good. The best I can describe it is, I think it centers around a kind of down on his luck detective, and he is trying to solve a murder that has taken place. And, you know, as with most of these stories, he's going to get threatened, and, you know, he's going to go through all of these twists and turns. And it sounds really good. As I say, it was recommended in one of the reading groups that I follow online. So while Karen Slaughter is a female author, I understand that who we are following is a male protagonist. The next book that I'm about to pick up from my library is by Colleen Hoover, and it's called Regretting... Is it Regretting Her? No, sorry, it's Regretting You. And this is kind of a family drama type of a story. We have a mother-daughter, and they are not very close. As, you know, mother-daughter relationships can be really, really good, or they can be really, really volatile. And so my understanding is that we have a mother and daughter who are not seeing eye to eye currently, and then something happens with, I believe it's the father of the family, and so the mother and the daughter have to bond together. So that is a Colleen Hoover. I know it's going to be a complicated relationship, and we're going to take turns rooting for it to work out and rooting for it not to work out. So that's truly all that I know about it. But as I say, it's my turn for the hold to come up on the library. So that is one that I will probably be reading closer to the beginning of the month. Now we can get into my stack that I've got here beside me. The first book that I want to read for physical books is going to be The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Now, you will probably notice that I had this on my February TBR, and this is one of those books where I said I was really excited to read it, and then once I sat down to read it, I couldn't focus on it, and I just couldn't dive into the story the way that I wanted to. I have started this book. I started at the beginning of the month. I'm on page 61, and this is the book that I chose to take with me on my trip to San Diego. I read all 61 of these pages on the plane on my way out there, and I knew I wasn't going to be reading anything while I was at the conference. However, I had intended to read more when I was on the plane ride back. I ended up hitting it off with a friend that I met at the conference. We ended up being on the same plane home, and I just talked to her the whole entire ride home, so I did not get any additional reading done. The Secret History is widely regarded as the beginning of the dark academia genre, and the beginning of it really sucked me in, but I feel like I'm struggling to pick it back up again because it is a very academic book. I can't recall the university that they're at, and it may be just a made-up university, but these folks, our protagonist and then kind of his group of friends that he's fallen in with, they pride themselves on, you know, kind of being a little bit out of the box and a little bit very elitist and highbrow, you know, and they speak that way as well. So when I was reading this, I found it really hard to get into the story and to concentrate because it's something that you definitely need to sit down and focus on the words that you're reading, or I do anyway. And so I found it really hard to kind of get enraptured in the story of it. I was drawn in right at the very beginning, and I think I will enjoy it. I know so many people really, really love this book, and I think I will too. I just need to kind of be in the right headspace to really enjoy it. So I'm going to be trying this one again this month, probably. I do feel like I want to get into the dark academia genre for this month, and what I think I'm looking for and why The Secret History is not just like really grabbing me right now is because it's not one of these like really, really fast-paced stories, you know, not right now anyways. There's a lot of foundation laying and a lot of this is what happened and then we went to lunch, and you know, there's a lot of that. What folks in the fantasy genre call like world building. There's a lot of that in The Secret History, and so I feel like what I'm looking for is to really be drawn in and for something to be high stakes and high adventure and just really action packed to keep the narrative moving, you know. So while I do want to stay in the dark academia genre, and what I'm hoping that I'm going to find in these books is that high stakes drama and the action packed, I'm going to try to pick up one or both of these books this month. This is Ninth House and Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. This is so far a duology, but I understand it's going to be, there's going to be more in the series. In this series, we follow our protagonist Alex as she is accepted into these sort of secret societies in Yale, and she is tasked with I feel like she is tasked with like keeping track of the rituals and the traditions. This was not on my radar before a couple of months ago. I think it was January when Hellbent came out, and so I ordered both of these in my January box. These are both Book of the Month copies, and I haven't had a chance to pick them up yet, but as I said, I want to delve more into dark academia, and I think these will give me that sort of high stakes, high adventure type of story that I'm looking for. So hoping to pick up at least Ninth House. That's the beginning of the series, so hoping to at least pick that one up for this month. If dark academia is not going to do it for me this month, we're going to go romance. I've got a couple of different options here. We have Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. This was another one that was in my February TBR that I did not get to. This we have, I think it's Former Friends to Lovers, and this is actually a YA romance, and so I'm curious to see how she's going to pull that off, because I feel like I've read Talia Hibbert before and she's a little spicy, so I'm curious to see how she pulls that off in the YA genre. And then the second one we have is Last Chance Books, and this is by Kelsey Rodkey, and I know nothing about this. I believe it's the owners of two rival bookstores, and so it gives me a little bit Book Lovers vibes, but it also gives me a little bit You've Got Mail vibes. And You've Got Mail is one of my very favorite movies ever. I could quote that movie chapter and verse, and like I could watch it every day and never get sick of it. So this might be one, if I feel like I need a little bit of a lighter read, I may go with this one. All right, next we've got one that was on my January TBR that I never got to. Are we seeing a theme here? I told you guys I've been very slumpy, and I have not gotten to the books that I thought I was going to, and I just have, I don't know, I feel like I've been really spacey this year so far. But this was on my January TBR. This is The Wilder Women by Ruth Emmy Lang. This one, when it came in Book of the Month, I was really, really interested in it. We follow two women, and they both have, I would say, supernatural powers, and something has happened with their mother. I can't remember if I think she's gone missing. I don't think she was killed. I think she just has gone missing. And so they have for years thought that she was just missing. And so now they're using their powers to find out what really happened with their mother. This one seems to be kind of a shorter book, so I feel like this one might be a good option. Like I said, I was interested in this immediately when I saw it in Book of the Month, and again, I just haven't gotten around to it. So hoping to pick this one up for this month. All right, we've got another Book of the Month here, and this is by Jojo Moyes, Someone Else's Shoes. I'm a little nervous putting this one into my TBR for this month. It did come in my February box. In this story, we follow two gals who literally are in someone else's shoes. Their gym bags got mixed up while they were at the gym, and one of our protagonists is very well off. She's she's very wealthy, very successful, and then the other one not so much so. And so they literally are walking in one another's shoes while they kind of fix this mistake that has been made. This has gotten a lot of mixed reviews in the Book of the Month group on Facebook, and so I'm putting it in here. It is kind of chunky, and basically the reviews that I read said that it probably could have been like 50 to 100 pages shorter, but I'm hoping for at least a little bit lighter of a read. And finally, we have Mad Honey. This is by Jodi Picoult. I know nothing about this. I hauled this in, I think, December or January in a my Barnes & Noble haul, and I literally know nothing about this. It says, Olivia McAfee knows what it feels like to start over. Her picture-perfect life, living in Boston, married to a brilliant cardiothoracic surgeon, raising her beautiful son, was upended when her husband revealed a darker side. So, I don't know. This has gotten some rave reviews in the book groups that I'm in, and I just, I thought it sounded interesting when I hauled it, and like I said, I don't really know that much about it, but I read something from Jodi Picoult earlier this year, and I did really enjoy it. She's another one of these where she writes a contemporary novel, but even in that, it's kind of twisty and turny and has some reveals that you don't particularly expect. So I think maybe I will pick this one up this month, but this is another one that's a little bit chunky, so it's going to be a commitment to read this. It's not going to be, one of these lighter, quick reads, I think. So guys, that's everything that I have to share with you today. March is kind of going to be a crapshoot. We'll see how many of these I get to and which ones actually will hold my interest. I'm hopeful that I can kind of get back on track. I really want to, I don't want reading to become a chore. It never has been for me before. I've always really, really loved reading, but I'm finding it really difficult to engross myself in what it is that I'm reading. So I feel like I need to do a little bit of exploring and really find what it is that I love again. And maybe that means not just reading what everyone else is reading, reading because it's something I saw on Bookstagram or something that I saw on somebody else's TBR, or, I try not to do that. I try to only really pick up the books that look interesting to me. But let's face it, we all kind of get sucked into that every once in a while. Anyway, I'll tell you what, you can recommend to me something that I should read next. I would love it if it was a female author. I could try to read that in March. Or even if it's not, you can recommend something to me that you have loved, and I will try to put that into a future month's TBR. So thanks so much for watching. I've got everything linked down below, my Goodreads, my Instagram, my referral code for book of the month, and then also down there is my Buy Me a Coffee link. I don't have any sponsored content, so if you wanted to support this channel, you could buy me a coffee. For the price of a coffee, you could just show me a little bit of love and show me a little bit of support. I appreciate it, and I hope I will talk to you soon. Bye.